Okay, we're going to go ahead and catalog kind of a last activity, activity 4.5. So activity 4.5, you folks read the humorous text, I've got a few pet peeves about sea creatures. So that was the essay where a father went to buy fish for his daughter. He talked about the humor behind pets being a total pain in the butt, but the life lesson they teach. And after you read that text with me, you worked on an analysis where you folks had the sentences kind of framed out for you. You filled in the blanks. So how is reading a humorous text, practicing writing an analysis of it, preparing you to write that formal essay where you're going to analyze your own humorous text? Once your purpose statement is written, you can flip it to the back side, and the class bookmark catalogs activity 4.5 as practicing 7 out of the 9 concepts that your essay will be graded on. So 4.5 has you practice concepts 1 through 6 and concept 8. Again, activity 4.5 has you practice concepts 1 through 6 and concept 8. Once your bookmark is done, you can go ahead, close it up, put it away. And if you could go ahead and open up your screen, go to page 265, that would be fantastic. Now, your in question today had you kind of reflect and recall that short story, The Open Window, that we read yesterday. And I also let you know that you're going to be seeing a video version of that short story. So that's what we're going to be starting off with. So maybe those of you that didn't read the story with us yesterday, this is kind of a quick recap of what it was about. But also for those of you that were having trouble maybe grasping what the heck is going on, maybe the video will help you out a little bit more too. All right, so I'm going to bring your attention back to page 265. And we've got this chart that I'm going to have you fill in with your family so you can talk through it. There's 3 columns that have to be filled with information. So even though it looks like the left-hand column is just there for the names of the characters, you're going to do more than that. All right? So it says in the left-hand column that we've got to provide details in the forms of actions, words, thoughts of the characters that kind of show us who this person is. So what exactly does Frampton and what do the knees say that kind of reveal their personality? In terms of the characters, the middle column, you're going to be writing down a list of precise adjectives. So how would you describe these people? And the right-hand column, the interpretation, it asks you what truth about life is revealed through this comic character. So think about what's true about their personality in the real world. All right? I'm going to give you, let's say, about 5 minutes to kind of work your way through this. The more information, the better, because you're going to be expanding on this chart in a written piece. So this is the opportunity to talk about it with folks. If you actually want to bebop to a different table too, you can do that if you'd like. All right, you guys have 5 minutes. Go for it. All right, we're going to go ahead and add some information to your chart of this character analysis. So you're going to see some info pop up on the screen in the characters column, so the middle column, and in the interpretation column, the right-hand one. Details, that's something that you should be able to pick up on your own. But if you see stuff on the screen that you didn't implement or you want to just add to it, put it in the chart or write it around, wherever you can find some room. All right? So in terms of Francis Nettle, some adjectives that we could use to describe him outside of the basic being a nervous guy. How about the fact that he's extremely gullible? He believes a 15-year-old story and doesn't let common sense take over when he sees these men walking up a lawn. And we also have to remember that aside from this man coming in for a nervous cure, he's also really anxious as well as uncomfortable around people. So maybe just having that alone is enough to kind of push him out of that home, not just the idea of ghosts. Now, in terms of a truth about life, his personality is something that we see a lot, people that are gullible, people that are nervous. And a lesson we can kind of pull from this, a lot of gullible and nervous people, they're easy to take advantage of, and a lot of times they are taken advantage of. So our next character is Mrs. Stapleton, the gal that owns this home that Nettle is attending to cure him of his nerves. Adjectives that would describe her. Okay, you might have been having a little trouble with this one because there isn't a lot to pull from her, but the reality is there is a lot going on with her, with what she's not saying or what she's not doing. So maybe she has a cheerful disposition when we meet her at first. She says hello to Nettle. But then when Nettle starts describing what the doctors have said he's had as an ailment, what his cures could be, she becomes really preoccupied, she becomes self-absorbed, and she doesn't even pay attention to what he's saying. When he starts rattling off the treatments that he should be partaking in, she has that yawn moment, oh, you don't say, and she's not even really taking care of him. And she's supposed to, that's her job, that's why that home is there. Something else to consider is she's really oblivious to her own daughter. She has not picked up on the fact that her daughter likes to stretch the truth. Niece, thank you, not daughter, thank you. And lastly, truth about life. What is this personality kind of showing? Well, people that are oblivious or self-absorbed or preoccupied like her, they're often unaware of their surroundings. They don't know what's going on, say, outside of their home. Sometimes they don't even know what's going on inside their home. They don't know their children or their niece, like in the case of Mrs. Stapleton. And lastly, we've got the niece. We know this girl is a pathological liar. We've got that. But how about a couple of these other words to describe her? Being deceitful and devious as a liar. Oh, yeah. She's also pretty dang mischievous. I mean, she's really clever, too. She takes a look at someone, kind of sizes them up in moments and goes, you're a target. That's what she did with Nettle. She realized he has no idea what this home is. I'm going to take that to my advantage. But in a positive way, this girl's really imaginative. Within moments, again, she's able to come up with these stories off the top of her head. Way to go. A plus for creativity, I'll give you that. All right, so interpreting her personality, how does it work in the real world? Well, people that are deceitful, people that are devious, that are mischievous, they're good at taking advantage of others because they're clever enough to notice when they can. So while you're finishing up, maybe adding to your chart or just copying down notes that you see, I'm going to hand out this half sheet of green paper, and I'll walk you through it. I promise you it's very quick and painless. And most of you can probably whip through it in 10 minutes or less. There you go. Any extras, just leave them at the front of the table. I'll walk by and grab them. Go ahead and put your name on the form if you haven't already. Do you remember them? Okay, this form should look so familiar to you. This is the third time that you've completed a written analysis. So you did one on Seinfeld. You did one on the importance of sea creatures. Or, I'm sorry, a few pet peeves about sea creatures. And now you're going to be completing your analysis on the open window. So we've got these sentence frames that you have to fill in, and all the directions are listed there. Okay, now don't be confused when it does ask you to refer back to the descriptions of humor to describe a character. that is accurate for you to go ahead and do that. But you're going to be referring to pages 238 and 239 for your descriptions of humor and your responses to humor. You might want to go back to page 242 for high and low comedy, to use the terminology there to explain why the piece is high and low comedy. And you might go ahead and refer back to the chart that you just filled in with me about those three characters, because you will analyze, one, was this high or low comedy, and two, the character. We'll choose a character to really look at. Yeah, you'll be focusing on one. You'll find about halfway through it'll ask you about a character, so you'll just really hammering home one idea. All right? Okay, now folks, if you do want to collaborate with someone and do this together, I don't mind if you do that. That's okay. If you prefer to do it on your own, that's okay too. But we'll see where we're at about 10 minutes time, and if we get stuff done quick, we'll go ahead and look at some Pixar shorts and analyze for high and low comedy again. All right? Go ahead. Let me know if you got any questions.